Why don't you make rants anymore? Because I'm not an edgy 13-year-old anymore who immaturely complains about trivial shit in cartoons and regurgitates everything people want to hear in order to get them to like me. Honestly, if those videos were all you ever really liked me for, you're bound to be disappointed by what my channel is like now. The old days are over. I barely give a shit about television anymore, and I don't care what networks are doing or why. Not when I have enough to worry about in my real life as it is. I'm frankly embarrassed by the material I used to do on my old channel, and now I strive to make videos that I can look back on years from now and hopefully not cringe at. I try to be more positive, creative, and optimistic when I talk about things. It's exhausting to be constantly talking negatively, and I find that people enjoy my videos more when it doesn't seem as though I'm desperately trying to find something to complain about. So I try to look on the bright side in my discussions whenever I can. That doesn't mean everything I say is all kittens and rainbows all the time. I don't believe anything or anyone is above criticism. If I find faults or take issue with something, I will talk about those issues if for no other purpose than offering a healthy balance in my thoughts. In summary, life's too short for me to always complain about literally everything, especially stuff that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. That doesn't mean I never complain about anything. I do. Just ask any of my friends, or even my mother for that matter, and they will certainly tell you that I do my fair share of venting. But I strive to do so in moderation, and spend more time talking about things that actually make me happy instead. What programs and equipment do you use to make your videos? I typically buy Logitech USB headsets that you can find in just about any electronics department of your typical retailer. They're cheaper in price, have varying sound quality, and they never last more than 2 to 3 years tops. I've gone through multiple different mics over the years, so that's why my sound quality isn't consistent across my videos. I've given some thought into buying a more expensive, yet more professional microphone, but I haven't found enough reason to do so yet. For the majority of my recording needs, I've used Audacity. It's 2016, you should know what that is by now, and if you don't, Google is your best friend. I recommend Audacity to just about anyone who wants to record their own narration because it's free to download and easy to use. However, the headset I'm currently using at the time of this recording doesn't play nicely with Audacity, so I use my editing software's built-in audio recorder instead. Speaking of which, I use a program called TrackX PC for my editing. It functions basically like Windows Movie Maker, but it's a lot more advanced, has more features and effects to mess around with, and it's just more stable and reliable all around. Google it if you think you might want to try it. There is a free trial, but you have to pay a fee to get the full version if you want to access more of the program's features or just continue using it once your trial period is over. You only have to pay the fee once, and it really isn't all that expensive, so I definitely recommend TrackX PC myself. As for other stuff, I use Microsoft Word to write my scripts, a tube catcher to download clips and music, and an Elgato Game Capture HD capture card to record my Smash footage. How do you put your own music in Smash Wii U for Custom Music Tour? Do you hack the game? No, I do not use any hacks for CMT. It's done using the magic of editing to create the illusion of having my own music playing in-game, even though it isn't actually in there. It's really simple. Here we have the main menu. In-game music is playing and everything seems normal. Go to Games and More, Options, and finally, Sound. All you have to do now is turn off music. Just the music. Don't mess with sound effects or voices because we need both of those intact in order to create the illusion. I'm not limited to only battles though. Editing even allows me to do something like this.
Survival! Mega Man! Three, two, one, go!
From here, I just have to play through the match in awkward silence while my capture card is recording in the background. Once the match is recorded, I can put it into my editing software, place the music track I want in the timeline alongside the video, and the inserted music disguises the fact that the video sound file has no music itself because it was turned off when it was recorded. That's all there is to it. Why are some of your videos so damn long? Because I like to be thorough. I like to go really in depth and say absolutely everything that is on my mind. I'm no longer bound by a time limit, so I use that freedom to say however much I feel is necessary. I do cut out quite a lot of pauses, stuttering, and other blooper material that you'll never hear in editing, but I try to keep the majority of the recording in the final product. I'll admit that I can get really passionate and long-winded, but I'm just trying to make sure that I back up my statements and thoughts with as much detail as possible, because if I'm not explaining my stance well enough in the video itself, I'll be spending that much more time clarifying things for confused viewers down in the comments, and I ain't got time for that. My videos are not the most visually stunning things you'll ever see in terms of editing or presentation, so I like to think that I'm a bit more like a podcast channel. You can just let my video play in the background and listen to the audio while you do something else. That's what I do when I have to sit through one of these videos to make sure everything is good before publishing it. If you don't have the patience to sit through 20 plus minutes of me talking, then I'm probably not the channel for you, because that's what I do the majority of the time. Have you ever thought about doing Let's Plays? I have given it some thought, but I have no plans of doing any Let's Plays in the near future. It's something everyone does, so it's a really saturated video style, and I honestly don't think I'd really offer anything interesting or different to it. Believe it or not, I'm actually really not that good at balancing commentary with gameplay, and there's really no games I'd want to play through that haven't already been done 100 times by now. Besides, my capture card sucks and doesn't always work right. Have you ever thought about doing live streams? A similar answer. I have thought about it, but again, I have no plans to. I don't know the first thing about live streaming, nor do I believe I have a sufficient equipment setup to pull it off. Even if I did, I highly doubt I'd have the time to stream often enough for it to be worth it. Between work, college, and salvaging what's left of my mental sanity after both of them, I struggle enough as it is just trying to upload consistently. Maybe if I'm still doing this whole YouTube thing a few years from now, when I'm further along in my life and have more time to myself, it would be possible for me to try live streaming, but that's far from guaranteed. Will you ever show us your face? I did before. Twice. Never again. In hindsight, showing my face really accomplished nothing significant. It still wouldn't now. There's really nothing I can't convey to my audience the way I do things right now. It's not even really a matter of me being embarrassed or self-conscious about my looks. There's really just no point in showing myself off on camera, so I just don't. Why do you use still images instead of clips? 25% of the reason is because I'm too lazy to find copious amounts of relevant footage in decent quality when Googling a show and finding screenshots instead is just a hell of a lot easier. The other 75% is because of copyright. I can't show footage of most of the subject material I like to talk about because the companies who own that footage will most likely block the video from being viewed in certain countries, or in more extreme cases, take the video down completely. That's not always guaranteed to happen right away, but the risk is still there, and it could just as easily happen later. All I'm saying is, I went through quite the hassle the last time I got a strike for using copyrighted material, and I'm in no hurry to go through that process again anytime soon. That being said, the reason I use Nintendo footage is because I have seen for myself that the worst Nintendo does about it is disable monetization. I don't really care about that at all, since I don't get anywhere near enough views to do this for a living and use my channel for income. If the copyright laws in the United States can ever catch up with the times and update themselves in accordance with the internet and fair use, I'd consider using more footage in my videos. But that's not looking to happen anytime soon, so you're better off just getting used to my current format. I think you should do a collaboration with Insert Channel Here. Well, I'm flattered that you think I'm popular enough that me crossing over with someone else would be significant, but the majority of the time, I either don't know who that person is, or they don't know who I am. Don't get me wrong, I'm proud of how much my channel has grown as it is, and I'm very grateful to you guys for checking out my work. But I'm also well aware that I'm just a drop in the bucket compared to most channels out there. Most of the people I've been recommended to team up with have most likely never heard of me or know what I do. I'm not opposed to meeting new people and discussing a possible collaboration with them, but I don't want to do it unless it just makes sense. Ever since I did that Kalos League video and talked about Amore shipping, people have been recommending I try to collaborate with PokeTubers who are much bigger than me. The reason why I don't see a potential collaboration like this happening is because I don't do Pokemon related videos regularly. I have done a few discussing the anime, but these guys base their entire channels around it. I just don't see us as a good fit. On the other hand, the reason I collaborate with CGS0 so much is because he and I are really good friends. He's always been the one to approach me about these videos, so that's how I know the idea makes sense to him. And we do have much more in common in our channels. CJ focuses entirely on video game content, and the majority of my content has something related to gaming. All in all, I'm not opposed to doing collaborations by any means, but I typically don't do it unless we have similar video content and the collaboration makes just as much sense to the other person as it might to me. I'm with Insert Network here, and I'd like you to become a partner. Can I discuss this with you? Sorry, but no. My channel is just a hobby. It's something small I do in my spare time. I'm not interested in making anything more out of it. I'm flattered if you see some kind of untapped potential in me, but I'm not open to any kind of partnerships or networking at this time. If you send me these kinds of messages, I will either ignore it or politely reject it at best.